So in our lives, I think we all have a bit of a fear of growth. So let's just think about growth. And I think the easiest metaphor is somebody that has gone to the weight room or worked out at some point in their life. So the only way that we achieve growth is through pain or through at least an uncomfortable environment. I think the fear of growth comes from that when we achieve a new level in life, and it could be small, minuscule things, like when I become a better husband, or when I become a better speaker, or I begin to teach better, or become a better employee, or whatever I'm doing, when we become better in our craft, when we become better in our lives, when we become better in our mindset, I think the fear is that now we're held accountable to a higher standard. So I think what a lot of people do is, well, if I grow, there's a new standard, a new level of accountability. There's a new standard that I've set. So now people fear growth. And they think, well, if I just don't grow and I stay the same, then the standard stays the same. I'm not playing this new game that I don't really know the rules to. And so I think across America, we have a lot of people that are perfectly fine living a comfortably stagnant or complacent life. Let me paint a picture for you. Let's say that in the 100% of people, that means every person that you come into contact with, that on one end of the spectrum, we have 10% of the people that are high achievers. They're pursuers of knowledge. They want to grow. They're lifelong learners. And at the other end, we have 10% that they are in the worst spots of their life. Talk about like rock bottom. That's what we're talking about, people hitting rock bottom. Well, on the two ends of the spectrum, if you think about a person that's rock bottom and a person that's a high achiever, they are pursuers of information, the pursuers of growth. They want to grow because this one wants to get out of rock bottom and this one wants to continue to stay in the top 10%. In the middle, we have 80% of people. And I really, truly believe this, that 80% of people are comfortable staying the same. That 80%, if you say, tell me how your life was last year, it's usually the same. Not many changes. The only changes are probably unintentional. We have to find a way to make this 80% pursuers of growth. And really, we have non-pursuers of growth and pursuers of growth. That's the difference in people. I'm pursuing growth, I'm pursuing growth, I'm pursuing growth. I'm going to stay the same. Because there's a fear of growth. Because when we grow, we have a new standard of living, a new expectation. This really links up to this idea that we are praised for performance. Let me tell you a story about when I was a soccer coach. I used to train goalkeepers and had a lot of success. Every single goalkeeper I ever trained was an all-state goalkeeper. A majority of them went on to go play college at a very high level. But it struck me in my 5th year of coaching. I had a player come off the field. We just lost a game 3-0. If you know anything about soccer, that's a lot of goals scored on a team. And he's got his head hanging down, and I give him a big hug, and he gives me a look like, you're not mad? I'm like, what do you mean mad? I'm upset we lost. I'm competitive. But I love you regardless of how many goals you let in. And he looks at me and he said, that's why you're different. You love me in spite of my performance. And it struck me. In our society, we love people based upon their performance. We hate people based upon their performance. We live in a society that's all based on performance. So if you fear growth and you say, well, I'm not going to grow because if I grow, then now the performance standard has changed and more people may not like me if I don't meet that standard, wouldn't it be easier just to say, I know the rules of the game, I'm going to stay minimum, stagnant, complacent, the same? I really think we have a crisis. I know it's a bold word, but I think we have a crisis of people in the world just staying the same. I've always said we should have one hand up, we should have one hand out and one hand down. I know it's metaphorical because we don't have 3 hands, but we should always be trying to level up. We should always be looking to our sphere for support and love, somebody next to us to cheer us on, and then we should be helping somebody else level up. But if we stay the same, well, unfortunately, we really can't bring anybody to us because why would they want to? Because they want to keep leveling up. They're pursuers. When we look next to us, it's the same people over and over, so it grows old, right? and we never reach up to get better. We just stay the same. And it all comes back to a fear of growth, because almost all growth comes from pain, discomfort, uncomfort. So we have to really figure out in our lives, what areas are we fearing growth? And how can we begin to paint a picture to say, it's going to be painful. There's going to be times of discomfort. But if I want to reach the greatest life story ever told, if I want to be able to have a legacy that has a ripple effect further than myself, then I have to choose growth. I have to change the standard of my life. And after I change the standard, guess what? I'm going to change the rules again, because I'm going to keep changing the standard, and I'm always going to be in control of what that standard is. We should all be lifelong learners. We should always be pursuing growth. How do I get better? Even if growth comes from failure, we should never be fearful of growth.